big part of his game that when the defense knows that he can't move, he's a sitting duck. Now, that may make you a little nervous about his future. Like, what is his upside if he's that dependent on his legs? Much like we ask, is Lamar Jackson, whether or not he's elite year to year, can he kind of be a fixture as an elite quarterback? Now think of a poor man's version of that. Colt McCoy, let's not forget, comes in against the Bengals. They win. Low-scoring game, but they win. He doesn't turn the ball over. Beats Seattle. He turned the ball over once, but he also threw a touchdown. But they won the game. And then didn't play against or start against Arizona. And that's when the Giants got beat up. McCoy doesn't do anything fancy. He seems to read defenses pretty well, and he has an idea of what he's doing. He's not super talented. He completes about 60% of his passes, but he's a solid NFL backup, and he's going to play within himself. And Stephen A., coming off a game like the Browns just did to a divisional Browns, there's going to be some overconfidence. I think the Giants win a very tight, low-scoring game.
I disagree. I think you're being a homer. I think you're getting caught up in the emotional source of it all. Whether it's Daniel Jones or Colt McCoy or whomever, they're not winning this game because they can't score. Their defense is improved. I think Joe Judge has proven to be a quality coach. You know I'm very fond of the job that he has done. And he deserves to be commended for it. They won 4 straight coming into last week's game before they lost to Arizona. But I think you're forgetting about the Browns. The Browns haven't clinched anything yet. They're 9-4, but they've lost to the Baltimore Ravens twice. The Baltimore Ravens are a game back right now after beating them this past week. They can't afford to lose these games. You got the Giants and the Jets coming up in back-to-back weeks. The Browns better not lose this game. They better not have an emotional drop-off, at least not over the next 2 weeks. They better get to 11 wins because with the Ravens breathing down their backs, having beaten them twice this year, obviously that means they'd get a tiebreaker. The Browns can find themselves on the outside looking in. I think they're aware of it. I think they know it. I think the way that the offense has been clicking, the way that Baker Mayfield has looked, the way that Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb have ran the football, the way that he's connected with Jarvis Landry, et cetera, et cetera. I just think that there's too much going for the Browns right now. It's an acceptable loss to lose to a division rival like the Baltimore Ravens if indeed you're trying to show that a culture change has indeed taken place. It's another thing entirely to lose to the 5-7 New York Giants. That still has a quarterback that's trying to develop and what have you. There is no excuse for that. I think the Browns know it, and I think they will rise to the occasion and handle their business the way that they're supposed to this coming weekend against a Giants offense that's ranked 31st in points scored, 31st in yards accumulated, 30th against with their passing attack as well. Even though Wayne Gallman has run the football effectively, the bottom line is they can't really throw the football, even with Sterling Shepard, with Golden Tate, with Eric Ebron and these boys. Evan Ingram, and these boys. I just don't see it happening against this Browns team right now. I think the Browns win this game.
Well, first of all, the Browns do have 9 wins, Stephen A., and we both agree, right? We can say ahead of time they're going to beat the Jets, so they have 10 wins. So, it sets up in an interesting way because the Giants really need the Washington to go 1-2, which is possible. You know, the Eagles aren't so bad anymore, right? Now that they don't have Carson Wentz starting. And the Giants need to go 2-1. And since they won the division, they beat Washington both games this year. Giants go to the playoffs if they go 2-1 and Washington goes 1-2. The Giants are actually playing for more because the Browns lose this game. They're going to beat the Jets. They're going to have 10 wins and likely be in the playoffs. And if not, they're going to play Pittsburgh last week of the season to try to get in. But by the way, if the Giants do beat the Browns, they're going to have to beat the Cowboys last week of the season to get in most likely because I would assume the Giants lose to Baltimore, who I think is a little better than Cleveland. That would set up to be an extremely dramatic last week for both teams. In order for that drama to happen, the Giants have to win this game. So am I being a homer? A little bit. Am I going with my heart? A little bit. Because I'm a huge Giants fan. But I do think there's reason to believe that they can win this game, and I think they will.
Well, you hold on to that belief. You hold on to that belief with your dear heart and with all your might, and end up finding yourself disappointed come Sunday night, Monday morning, because Giants ain't winning this game. I can't see that happening. I just can't. It'll say a lot to me about the Browns.
Not an unbeatable team.
If the Browns were to lose this game. If the Browns were to lose this game, it would say a lot to me about them.
What about Seattle? Seattle lost to the Giants. You know, Seattle's a good team. They lost.
Yeah.
Well, Stephen A., do you expect anything less that Max would pick the Giants in this weekend's game? Something interesting, though, is because we don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be playing on Sunday. His status is in doubt. But if he is not playing, has not played since Week 10 because of a rib injury, he was activated off IR this week. He has been practicing, and now it is confirmed he will be starting against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. So, Stephen A., I'm going to start with you here. Do you think that the Saints are making the right decision here?
You're damn right they're making the right decision. He's Drew Brees. What else is there to talk about? He's Drew Brees. You're damn right they're making the right decision. Make no mistake about it. I know he's over 40 years of age, Max. I know there's a lot of dust being collected on that birth certificate. I know all of those things, Max Kellerman, but I will tell you this in the end. Here's what it comes down to. You roll the dice. You take the chance. He's coming back. You can always reinsert Taysom Hill. He knows he's the backup to Drew Brees. You can always throw those packages in play because it's Sean Payton, his experience with Drew Brees, the number of years they've been working together. He knows what adjustments may need to be made and what have you. You throw Drew Brees in there. This is it for him. This is possibly his swan song. He's got an opportunity to go up against Patrick Mahomes. You can't deny Drew Brees that opportunity. Last time we saw him, he was complete 73% of his passes, 18 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions on the season, a quarterback rating of 110 for crying out loud. He's Drew freaking Brees. You throw him in there. Do I have some trepidation? Maybe a little bit, but damn it, that's what I'll go with, Max. Yeah, you play him.
This is a bold move by the Saints. It's a bold move because I know people think, well, the way you want to beat Mahomes is ball control. In fact, you have a better chance beating the Chiefs in a shootout than you have in any other kind of game. And you have a guy on the roster in Jameis Winston who can win shootouts. Even though he gave the other team 112 points last year when he was on the Bucs, that's why Tom Brady took over, right? That's an upgrade, just don't turn the ball over. And he threw those 30 interceptions. He did lead the league in yards and throw 33 touchdowns. So Jameis actually, in a strange way, gives you a chance to win that game. And Taysom Hill ain't bad. The fact that they're going with Drew Brees tells you a lot. You mentioned his swan song, Stephen A. The man is 40 years old, coming back from 11,000 fractured ribs and a lung and I mean, to insert him now tells you how big the Saints see this game. It's not just that he needs a little runway before the playoffs, because the Saints are legit Super Bowl threats this year. This may be the best overall team that Brees has been on since a Super Bowl team. Both sides of the ball. It's not just that. It's that when you look at the Saints and you look at the Packers, there's only one bye in each conference this season. Only one team gets a bye. And the Saints looked like it was going to be them, but the Packers are hot on their tail. And when you think about the Saints at home, it's one thing to say they play better at home in a dome, climate controlled. That's true. And they'd have a disadvantage on the road. Without fans, maybe that's not quite what it would normally be in most circumstances. But Stephen A., the frozen tundra in the winter. I mean, not only do the Saints want that bye, but the Saints don't want to have to go to Green Bay, don't want to have to go to Lambeau Field to get out of the NFC. This tells you how big a game this is for Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and the Saints. And this is a bold and gutsy move to start him now instead of giving him a little more time to rest up for the playoffs.
It's a bold and gutsy move, Max, but are you saying it's the right call or not?
It is the right call. If he can go, they got to play him. This is a huge game because of what I just mentioned.
Okay. All right. I understand.
Okay, well,
Max,
both
I'm
of you
proud
excited to see.
You're agreeing with me in this particular situation. You're showing that your football knowledge is elevating, my brother. Way to go. Way to go. You start off the show, even though we normally disagree, you're siding with me. Smart move to start off this Friday. We could go on, Charlie.
All right. Well, we know Patrick Mahomes is excited. He already said earlier this week he was just a bit disappointed if Drew Brees wasn't going to play because, after all, guys, they're both Texas boys, if you didn't already know that. But let's talk about the game last night, Thursday Night Football. We had ourselves a game, Chargers, Raiders, and Derek Carr, he did leave the game with an injury. Marcus Mariota stepping in his place, doing a fantastic job, but it just wasn't enough to outduel Justin Herbert and company. So, Max, what is the biggest story from last night's game?
Justin Herbert's the big